Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the Aegis Vanguard Warden. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, welcome back to another review. Today, the Vanguard Warden, one of many variants with the Vanguard series. This one here, a heavy fighter, is capable of doing quite a bit, and before we get into the numbers and stats, I just want to make sure you guys know you're all awesome, and I appreciate every one of you. Also, make sure you enter in for the current giveaway if you want your chance to win a Mark II Super Hornet with the Heartseeker kit. It is on my channel. Look down below in the description. I'll add a link. Now, otherwise, this ship here is $260 if you were to buy it on the Pledge store, or you can buy it in-game for $10,319,400 aUEC. Now, this ship does compete with quite a few different heavy fighters, including the F-8 Lightning, as well as the newest Guardian. But how does it compete with those ships? Honestly, a lot of its stats are either better or average, kind of like in line with those other ships. Let's go ahead and take a look. The Vanguard Warden, with that pilot in its seat, can do up to 2,273 damage per second, and that's due to the 1-size-5 Deadbolt 5 ballistic cannon right there on the front. Now, other than that, you have 4 size 2 MVSA laser cannons right there on the front as well. They're right above that size 5 gun, so all the weapons for this ship are right there on the nose for the pilot, making it pretty easy to see where your arc or your angle is going to be, or your spread from those guns right there in front of you. Now, you also have, for the pilot, 4 size 2 Ignite 2 missiles, 4 size 2 Dominator 2 missiles, and 4 size 3 Arrestor 3 missiles. So quite the missile payload for a heavy fighter once again. And then you have a manned turret at the top, where you can have a friend of yours, or in the future, potentially an AI, get in there and use the 2 size 2 Sawbuck guns up there, which also outputs 604 damage per second. Now, of course, every one of these guns are changeable, so you can change them and modify how you want to run this ship. If you prefer more ballistics, more lasers, or whatnot, you can definitely make that change. Now, other than, the attacking ability, what about getting attacked, right? You have 2 size 2 shield generators giving you 9,480 bubble shield, which is actually a pretty decent amount of shield. It's just a hair under 10,000, and that's just coming stock. So if you were to go out there and find shield generators that can do more for you, you can easily push that over 10,000, which does give you a little bit of an advantage out there, because having more shield is always good before you, end up having to use your ship HP to help you. But then again, if you're getting hit by ballistics, it might not make too much of a difference. And then you do have 37,800 ship HP, which is average among other heavy fighters in this category, so it's a pretty good amount. Just like with any ship like this, any heavy fighter, any fighter, don't lose a wing, because it could mean and spell disaster for you. So just be careful not to let your wings get taken out. Keep it moving, keep it spinning, keep it turning. Do whatever you do to avoid that. Now, this ship does go a top speed of 215 SCM with a 458 forward boost, a 223 backwards boost, and a 1,111 navigation speed. So, not the fastest ship out there, but not the slowest. For a heavy ship, with the amount of armor it's supposed to have in the future and its firepower, it's actually kind of speedy. But its maneuverability is a little bit lower, sitting at a 40, 33, 124 pitch yaw roll. Now, when you boost it, by pressing shift or whatever key you have that boost ability on, if you're using joysticks or whatnot, it's a 48, 40, 149. It's not terrible. It's definitely a lot better than certain heavy fighters out there. And there's even some medium fighters that aren't as good as this in that maneuverability field, or it's just like right there with them. I'd say it feels a little floaty, but it's not supposed to be a ship that's maneuvering with a Gladius or an Arrow, right? So that's to be expected. It's a heavy ship. It's a big profile. It's got an interior. I mean, there's a lot going for it. So outside of that, you do have 40.5 hydrogen fuel and 1.8 SCU of quantum fuel. So a pretty decent amount of fuel overall. It's, I'd say, a higher end. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the interior next. Now, this ship does have some graphical issues going on with it. I will advise you of right now, the bugs for it, pretty much just graphical, and you'll see that like when you're walking around it, you can see like the engine manifolds back there, they're kind of flickering in and out, and that kind of tends to happen. And then when you go to the inside of the ship, using the only entrance here, the back ramp, you can see that there is other graphical concerns or glitches that will hopefully be fixed soon. Of course, this ship needs a gold standard pass, just like many other ships. This ship here does have its components pass, so that's pretty cool. I do like that. Now, if we walk on in, you just turn around, you can go ahead and close this door here by looking for that hover text, and then the first component is going to be right behind you, and that is your quantum drive here at the back door. You wouldn't really think it's going to be behind you, but it is, and you just got to kind of crouch down here, and you can open that up and grab whatever components you need out of there. So pretty cool. And then you make your way through, and I'm sure there's going to be more component access whenever they do a gold standard, because they're going to have to add their relay box. I haven't been able to find it so far. Maybe they did, but I just can't find it. There is a fire extinguisher and, of course, an engineer station. As you can see, there is already one graphical glitch on the interior, and I think this is the only one on the interior, if I'm recalling correctly, but this is the bathroom. If I press F to open the door, and then I take a leap of faith, I walk into the bathroom. It's a pretty scary experience, and I hate being in restrooms just because of that, and now you got the void to leave the bathroom, we hope, right? You do have, of course, your toilet down there. I'm not going to touch that. And then the vampire mirror. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the scariest thing there. And then you can access your internal storage by pressing F here. It does open it up for you, which is pretty nice. I like that. And then right behind you, you do have a weapons locker. You can deploy that and add your weapons as needed. Up to 4 of them, which is pretty cool. And then go ahead and close that on up. And you have a little kitchen here. You can make some food, drink, whatnot when that ability is in there. But it's nice that it does have this, as well as 2 beds here for your pilot and your manned turret gunner. So I like that. And I did log out in it earlier, so that does work, which is nice. And then if you turn around, this is your engineering station. With every different model or variant of the Vanguard, this is different. The Harbinger has a torpedo launching bay here. The Sentinel has an EMP generator and EMP electronic warfare devices. So that is pretty interesting. You also have more component paths here that's needed. Obviously, avionics aren't in the game yet, so that'll come sooner or later. And then if you make your way through the next little door, you do have some components under the stairway here, which nothing there yet, but it will. And then you do have a lot of your components on these side walls, which you can go ahead and open up and remove as needed. So again, it does have its components pass, mostly, of course, minus some of the things that aren't just in the game yet. So I'm going to go ahead and open all these up and take a look. And as you can see, it's pretty nice. It fits in here quite well. And you do have your fire extinguisher. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how or where they put the relay in. Maybe right there, probably. But we only have time to tell, right? So right here is the pilot seat. If you make your way into the seat, you can see the view that you do have outside of the cockpit here. And I will show you a quick battle. It was against a player because, surprisingly, I was sitting at a location. I was sitting a little bit ways away from Brios. This reclaimer comes in, and I'm like, I type in global. Hey, you have nothing to worry about. I'm friendly. Okay. It flies off. It comes back. This thing has a gunner on it. So it's a player with a player gunner, and he starts engaging me. I'll show you that battle here in a second. This is your view outside of here. It's got a really heavy amount of beams in your way, but otherwise it's an okay view. You got 4 MFDs, which is pretty nice, including your radar in front. It's not terrible, so I do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and show you that battle really quick, and then I'll give you my score. Right here you see he's trying to put the butt of the reclaimer on the ground to prevent me from getting underneath him so his gunner has a shot. To be honest, I still don't know why they decided to engage me, but they both ended up dying right here. They weren't able to keep me in the range of that turret gunner, which was their downfall, but it demonstrated that this ship is capable of doing massive amount of damage, even stock as a solo pilot, allowing you to take out really big targets that have big HP or shield pulls, which is really nice. I do appreciate that about the Vanguard Warden. Now, another thing to talk about with this ship is that it is supposedly someday going to be modular, where you can take out that interior area that you live in, drop it down and put something else in there, but we'll see how that works out in the future. If it'll retain its modularity, we don't know, but one day we will find out. This ship for me is a 9.5 out of 10, and that's just due to the fact that it doesn't have its gold standard pass, losing half a point there. It does have its components, mostly, as all ships do that have the components pass, but otherwise it has great firepower, great missiles. You can bring a friend along. It has 2 beds. I mean, it has everything you need for a heavy fighter, and you could potentially even fit like a pulse right up that back ramp, which is awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the Vanguard Warden or any of the other Vanguard series ships down in the comments below. The Sentinel's cool. The Harbinger is just awesome. The Hoplite is the ship you want to forget, kind of like the Cutlass Steel, but still, the whole lineup is fantastic. Again, thank you guys for being the best viewers. I appreciate every one of you, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.